Hi guys, my name is Christina and welcome to my channel, and in today's video I'm gonna take you along with me as I'm completing this particular page for my comic, and I'm gonna explain all the process of mine as I'm going through it. So yeah, let's go. I'm just gonna speed it up. Before we start, I just want to say that the whole process took me 5 hours to complete, so this video is obviously sped up, so it's gonna be like 15 minutes or something like this. But yeah, overall it took me five hours to complete this page. Not to say that I just sit and do it in 5 hours. Obviously, there were breaks. I went to sleep, I went to eat, I went to do other things, I went to work on other pages in between because I work on several pages at the same time. But it looks like it took me 5 hours to complete this page, which is fast. I would say it's fast. So, okay, let's go. So I'm starting with already having some lines. So this is the level of lines that I usually have before I start working on the page. I have several passes of my line work, and this would be the second pass, and obviously it still looks atrocious, but it's enough for me to start working. So that's the start. And then the first thing I do, I fill in the colors between my lines and I use soft brush. This is, I found that the fastest method is to fill in the colors for the whole page. On the background, that's just literally color bucket, and then just use soft brush and just fill in roughly colors of clothing items, hair and skin for the characters. And I use an eyedropper tool and I just pick them from another page that you see on the side. And then you can see me putting my backgrounds in, and I will do a separate video on how I create my backgrounds, but basically I have them pre-drawn and then I just paste them in the correct position when they draw pages. And as you can see, for the background for the first two panels, I'm actually just using the same method with soft brush because this is going to be grass and I don't have grass drawn specifically. And now you can see I'm using dividing lines and creating bubbles, filling all this organizational thing in. And when it's all done, I am actually gonna just draw grass first because again, I don't have background for this particular panels, so that would be grass. And basically think about it as the same as I would just draw background first. And I just want to make sure I'm not distracted by characters, where they are. And I'm planning to use this grass that I've drawn here for the first panel. So you'll see how it works. So basically now I'm just drawing grass, soft brush all the way through. It speeds up the process a lot, especially it's something that is background that doesn't need crazy definition, something that is bulk objects, like again, patches of grass, patches of hair, just clouds, like patches, multiples of one tiny thing. Soft brush is amazing. So basically you just think shadow and light and draw shadow and light, patches of shadow, patches of light, and you put them in the right position, and that will create the volume of your grass. I like using the main color as a darker one, kind of on the shadow side, and then I just basically painting highlights on top. But in this grass, you see sometimes I use like darker accents to just emphasize that this is the darker part of grass. And then, yeah, you just create basically this pattern and create a little bit of shadow underneath characters. And for me, challenge was to don't forget to do different grass directions, because if I'm too relaxed, I can just start drawing it in one direction. But think about the grass that's been there for the whole summer. It's growing left and right, and it's casual. If it makes sense. So it's not super organized, so just wild grass as it is. So now I'm very happy with this grass. So I'm just copying it and pasting in another panel, and I'm scaling it up, obviously because we're more zoomed in, and as you can see, because I scaled it up, it became lower resolution. So I'm going through it a little bit to create a better resolution for it. And after this, I'm jumping on the next layer and I'm starting drawing my characters. To be honest with you, this pose was a challenge, not so much as an anatomical challenge, or I'm thinking how the person will look like. No, I had an idea how it will look like anatomically, but it just, I wasn't sure if I can make it look interesting, you know, because people look kind of boring from overhead camera angle. It looks cool if in motion, if they're on vehicles, if they're on horses, but I don't know, if they're standing down, I'm not sure. But I just felt like this particular angle, this is the best way to show what the character is doing. And she has a knife kind of shoved behind the belt of her jeans and she's reaching for it. And I thought it's gonna be the best angle to represent it. But oh my god, I was having major doubts when I was drawing it if I can pull it off and make it more interesting. Didn't record much of the grass process. As you can see, at some point grass is just gonna become more updated, just because I have a little lag. Even with Camtasia Studios that I'm using, it doesn't make computer to lag while it's recording because it's procedural. However, it still has a micro lag, and my Alt key doesn't respond as well, and Alt is all about bringing up eyedropper, so basically pick up color, and I press Alt key all the time. Every couple seconds I will press it. So if it's a lag, so it means instead of me clicking with my mouth to pick up color, I will be actually using the brush and will create artifacts and weird brush strokes, and it will drive me crazy. So I actually didn't record some of the grass, and I just did it off camera. I actually even took a photo of myself from above, just trying to figure out how the face would look like. So I have a lot of weird pictures on my phone all the time because I take pictures of myself every time I'm drawing something unusual, like for example this, like the angle that I don't drew a lot of the time. So now it's the hair time, and the hair is usually very fun because they bring the life, like I think hair really brought the life to this pose, and they just show where movement is and all of this, and just added some interesting dynamic. What I'm doing here, I'm creating feeling of emotion because I want to this page represent a wide motion, not just her reaching for the knife, but she's also pulling it out. So to achieve this, emotional blur alone wouldn't be enough, so I created kind of like a ghost hands as she reaches and takes it out, so we can see stages of her movement as she does this, so we understand where the hand is going. So usually I would do just motion blur, but because it's more complex action, I wanted to add those stages of where her hand is, so we have understanding what is going on. And now we're gonna draw a tiny tsukai, which is easier because we don't have to draw much of the details. It's also very important to remember about scaling and scaling of your brush stroke. If you have a tiny object and you zoom in so close and make your brush super small and you draw it in all details, it will look weird. I would suggest don't go too small with your brush strokes. Still give them in balanced scale in relationship to the whole page, so it makes sense. So if your character is small, just brush strokes gonna be bigger and it's gonna be more sketchy looking, and it's perfectly fine. Because I used to zoom in so close and I would draw everything through so much, and I would wonder why stuff doesn't look natural, why stuff looks weird. I'm doing photoreal job, why it doesn't work. But yeah, just remember to keep your brush strokes up to scale, even if you have multiple scales going on. And here I'm gonna do kind of the same thing with motion blur with her hands later on. But first I have to draw this monster. I call it a monster, but it's actually called Firstborn. Yeah, this is actually fun for me. I like just drawing raw anatomy. That's my cup of tea. Like naked humanoid creature that is has nice muscles, and you just go and you just draw. It's so relaxing to draw anatomy. I don't know. I just like drawing muscles and how they work, and the movement of them, the light and shadow on them. I don't know. That's just a feast for my eyes and for my hands. I really like it, so I really like drawing those creatures. And yeah, because they have to look humanoid, but they also look kind of like Chondra, the race that I have. So they kind of half beasts, half Chondra species. So they're very particular looking. So they kind of very, very ancient way of how Chondra came to be. So those creatures were created first, and then Chondra were created. Kind of 2.0 version of them, so more human, more advanced, more intelligent, but they still have the resemblance, but more beastly. So it's a beastly version of humanoid creature. Very fun to draw. And I wanted it to have both scary look to it, like disturbing, but I also wanted it to look like it has potential for intelligence, because they are intelligent creatures. And they can go both ways, really. They can go completely barbaric and mad and crazy and become really beasts that are scary, but at the same time, they are also very intelligent, and in their own society, they act completely different. So I wanted them to be able to go both ways. So yay, our motion blur is back. So basically I'm doing the same thing with stages with her hand. Just making sure it's understandable where her hand is, where her hand is going and was going. Teeth, very fun. It's also it's also a little challenging to draw growl on humanoid face, just because as humans our growls don't look scary, they look stupid. So we kind of have to I kind of have to do a little bit different jaw, because just human growl, we don't really growl, we just has like a sneezing face. If we do it, it's not fun. So I had to reposition the jaw a little bit. And as for the lady, because again she's a little small, I'm not going in crazy details. I just draw masses of light and shadow, just basically sculpting her face. This is how I would call it. And I of course have a reference board with photos on the left. However, if the character is a little farther away, I'm gonna rather use my own drawing that I did before, because photos, they have so much color information. And as you draw something and using colors from photo, your drawing will have less colors, actually, unless you use like a special drawing technique. But basically, you will have less colors. So if I'm drawing the same character in a smaller panel, I would just grab colors from my own drawing, because I already have selected colors that I selected to use from the photo, if it makes sense. And it's easier to just grab them, because I already see how the shadow looks like, how the light looks like, whereas on the photo you have like multiple shades in light and shadow, and choosing them might take time, and I don't like wasting time if I can not waste time. This is very self-explanatory page. Nothing groundbreaking is happening here. It's not like a page with crazy hero shot. It's not the page with something crazy unusual happening. It's just a very simple page that just helps us to show what is happening plot-wise. And most of the pages in my comic, or I would assume it in most people's comic, are the same, because if you have a crazy pages all the time, your reader will get tired. Your reader doesn't have time for it, and when everything is something and everything is loud, it's very difficult to pinpoint what is important. So most of the pages will be calm and simple, and I wanted to show you this particular page that is very calm and simple, just nothing crazy, nothing groundbreaking, but a lot of those pages have to be done. So I hope you guys like this video. I hope you're doing great. I hope this was something useful for you in this particular video. So let me know in the comments down below. First, if you made it this far in the video, and if you are creating your comic, what is your process? Yeah, basically let me know, let's chat, and yeah, hope you guys gonna have a great week, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you guys. Bye.